This is Word on the Street for GLC with Brant Fricker and me.
Hey, all right. Good job, Victoria Jackson. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Word on the Street. I love my background musician here. She's the star of the show today, Victoria Jackson from Saturday Night Live and beyond. There's so much more going on with you, Victoria. And you know what, sister? You haven't aged a bit. How you doing?
You called me out of the blue. I never answer my Facebook. So
I know.
How did we get hooked up?
Well, it was a God thing, Victoria. You know, I was thinking about Norm Macdonald and man, what a great comedian that we lost. And then I started hearing things about his faith, which surprised me in a good way. And the next thing you know, I see a post that had you on it. And I thought, man, you know, I remember Victoria Jackson got saved. She loves Jesus. She defeated cancer and has a story and written books. I'm going to try to contact Victoria Jackson. And I did. And you know what? I was on the road in my roadster heading towards Dallas. And lo and behold, I get a message from none other than Victoria Jackson. I'm so glad that you called me back.
Thank you for calling me. You are a good journalist because
Thank
you
you.
found me and I never answer those things. So, and maybe God didn't.
Well, I feel honored, Victoria. I really, really do. And I've always been a fan, by the way. I mean, most of us were. So how long has it been, Victoria, since you've been on the set of Saturday Night Live?
I left in 92.
Wow.
So that's a long time.
It just seemed like yesterday.
Yeah, I was there 86 to 92 with Dennis Miller, Dana Carvey, Phil Hartman, Kevin Neal, and John Lovitz, Jan Nordine, right? And then my ending years were the beginning years of Mike Myers, David Spade, Chris Farley, Adam.
Wow. And so you met Chris Farley. I mean, so many people remember him and how funny he was and his tragic end as well. But what was it like working with those amazing talents? I mean, you were talented too. You wouldn't be on the show, Victoria, if you didn't have your chops too. But what was it like working with those people?
It was extremely fun. A lot of competition for airtime, and they were so talented. I mean, I was like trying to keep up. Oh, can I have a line?
Now, Victoria, I tell you what, I want to know, how did you get on Saturday Night Live?
That is the most asked question of me. Mostly it's like this: how did you get on us? Well, I was living in LA trying to be an actress, and I was 26, and I was getting little commercials here and there. I had just had a baby. I'd just been in the movie The Pickup Artist with Robert Downey Jr.
Wow.
And all of a sudden I got a call. Yeah, I was excited. I had like 3 lines. So I was excited. I got a call at my home on the Kermit the Frog telephone. And they said, would you like to audition for Saturday Night Live tomorrow? I was like, how did they get my home number? It didn't even go through my agent or anything. And I said, yes. And they said, okay, be at the LAX at 8 a.m. tomorrow and bring your characters and impressions. I said, oh, okay, thank you. And I didn't have any characters or impressions because I didn't grow up with a television. My dad was a Baptist deacon and a gymnastics coach, and he wanted to make straight A's. We were in church 3 days a week, so I never saw the show. I knew about it, but I had never done, Second City or improv or anything. But I had my ukulele and my handstand and my 12 minutes from Johnny Carson. So I got on the plane, and my husband babysat my baby, and I flew to New York. The airline lost my ukulele, so now all I had was a handstand. And 12 girls were flown in from all different places, and we were in the Mayflower Hotel, and we were walked down the street like little ducks to 30 Rock in a line. My ukulele was found at 3 a.m, and I couldn't sleep anyway. I was so nervous because I was the breadwinner. I was married to a guy who was a fire eater. He ate fire.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And he had like 1 gig a year. He made about $100 a year.
Wow.
I saw his income tax return. So I had a lot of pressure because I had a baby and I had a house that I bought with my first TV show that got canceled after 6 episodes. It was called Half Nelson, and Joe Pesci was the star, and I was
I
loving it.
remember that.
You do?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember Half Nelson. Yeah.
Oh, well, it would have lasted longer, except he was throwing tantrums in his trailer and stuff. So, but I got a little chunk of money and bought a house in the Hollywood Hills. So I had a lot of pressures. 26, had to support a husband, a baby, and a house. So I'm flying to New York, and I trust God with everything. So I go to the Phil Donahue studio, which is where each girl went in by herself, and Lorne Michaels was sitting in a chair eating popcorn, unsalted popcorn, and the Lornettes, these beautiful 20-year-old women, would bring him the popcorn, and one Lornette was operating the camera. And so I did my little 12 minutes from Johnny Carson, and then I went back to the hotel, and they said, don't leave town. Lorne wants to see you tomorrow. So the next day I go to meet with Lorne in his office, and I said, when should I come? And they said, anytime after 3. I'm like, that's kind of, what does that mean? Like, I go, okay. And so I was there at 3:01. And the secretary is like, he's not in yet. I go, do you know when he'll be in? And she's like, no.
Oh,
I said,
wow.
when did he usually come in? After 3. So this is the big time. If you're on SNL and you write a sketch, we had to write our own material. If you write a sketch and you're like, I need a real live elephant, Lorne will go, elephant. Everything after SNL is like pales in comparison. So she goes, why don't you go to Soho or something? I go, oh, what's Soho? Is that a department store? And I'd never been in New York, and so she laughed at me. And so I went out, walked around, came back about 4. Didn't want to miss my big chance. And Whitney Brown was sitting in there, and he's like, oh yeah, Lorne, you always have to wait an hour or more for him. He's very important. He finally calls me in his office, and he's like, so I'm doing an impression of Dana Carvey doing an impression of Lorne. Every impression I do, I've stole from Dana. I don't know. Thank you, Dana. So Lorne goes, so you had a very funny audition. So I hear you had a baby, just had a baby. And then it was like 2 seconds. And then he started ushering me to the door to leave. And I was like, he goes, I don't think you're very strong in characters and impressions. I said, well, I could talk like this. And he's like, I go, I could be a character like this, And I go, well, what do you mean? And he goes, well, if I wanted you to be Diane Keaton, I go, well, I would just wear men's clothes and look at the ground a lot. And he goes, what if I wanted you to be a Midwestern housewife? And I go, well, my parents are from the Midwest and I'm a housewife. So, and he's like, okay, thank you. So I'm flying home and I'm like, man, I was so close. And then I realized I was going to be on Johnny Carson in 2 weeks. And I thought, hey, what if I continue my audition for Lorne on Johnny Carson?
Hey.
So I went home, I was vacuuming, and I was watching VHSs of Diane Keaton, Terry Garr, Tina Turner, whatever. Wow. And I realized I'm not very good at it. And I was like, well, if I do it and they laugh, that's the whole goal. So it doesn't matter if you do it really good, as long as you make them laugh.
Right.
So I asked Jim McCauley, the talent scout, if I could do this. He goes, yes. He goes, but just don't say what show it is. We don't want to get sued. And I said, okay. So I go out there. I still have the video of this exciting Johnny Carson moment. And I said, Johnny, I'm auditioning for this show where you have to do impressions and characters. Can you try to guess who I'm doing? And he goes, sure. And I go, what's love got to do with it? And he goes, Tina Turner. And I go, yeah. And then I go, boy, the way Glenn Miller played songs that made the head pirate.
Yeah.
And he goes, Edith Bunker. And
that's right. Yeah.
And then I go, oh, Johnny, I don't know why I'm here. I have nothing to say. I just go to a commercial. And he goes, Terry Garr. And I go, yeah, because that's what she used to do. So then I go,
John, why do you want to work for my company?
And he goes, I don't know, Betty Davis? And I go, no. And he goes, I don't know. And I go, well, it's a character I made up. And then everybody laughed so loud. And Johnny laughed so loud. And he goes, if you made it up, how am I supposed to guess it? And then everyone just laughed. And then I thought, I know Lauren would love this. And so I told my manager afterwards, what if Lauren didn't see it? What if Lauren didn't see it? And so she made sure he got a VHS in his mailbox of the hotel he was staying in. That's what I heard. And I don't know how it all went down, but they called me about 2 weeks later and they said, congratulations, you're in the cast of Saturday Night Live. There will be a plane waiting for you at 8 a.m. tomorrow at LAX. And I said, oh, thank you. And and then I screamed. It was 10 at night. Like I acted real calm on the phone. And then when I hung up, I screamed. And then my baby woke up and started crying. And then my fire eater threw up on the bed because he was so nervous about this. And so we had to wash the sheets of the vomit, and we had to pack baby diapers, baby toys, and get there and the next day. And that started this amazing experience. And it was very stressful. And that's one reason I was so thin back then. But it sometimes I think that God gave it to me because I wasn't prepared, trained for it. But I learned as the years went by. I got to do Jaja. I didn't want to kill a man. I didn't want to slap a man. I forget. And I got to do Roseanne. Something it's like you came home from work and the kids are still alive. Hey, I did my job. So I got to learn, but I sometimes think that God gave me that platform so I could tell the gospel.
Wow. Well, you know what? You never know until a little later on how it was all orchestrated in a way that only God could do it, Victoria. And I really believe that about you now, is that, Moses spent 40 years in the desert, for a reason. And that was a preparation time for you. There's a lot of Christian comedians out there, but they could only dream of being the caliber to be on Saturday Night Live, and here you are having done it. That's an accomplishment. And now I believe you're breaking new ground for comedy right now on multiple networks. So that's an exciting story, incredible story.
Hey, I wanted to plug something. Besides,
Please.
Plug away. That's what Mike Myers used to do.
Yes, plug away.
John Lovitz did it. Plug away. Well, I'm going to be in Texas. That's where you are, right?
Yes, it is. Amarillo, Texas. You're going to be in West Texas in October.
Oh. We're at the Word on the Street on GLC with Brant Fricker and me. Okay, it's October 15th through the 17th of this year. I'm very excited because I've always wanted to do Christian events.
Right.
And I think people were scared of me, like, oh, she's the wild SNL lady. They don't understand. I've been a Christian since I was 6.
Wow.
I grew up in a Baptist church, and I went to a Bible college, and it's
Wow.
hard. Yeah, at Florida Bible College. So this is so exciting to me because I used to do my act in stand-up comedy clubs, and I'd be doing jokes for an hour, and I thought, I'm not leaving them with anything important. So I slipped John 3:16 into my last song. And I
Wow.
thought, well, maybe, and maybe I'll plant a seed or something.
Wow.
And so anyway, I'm excited because this event, I get to do my comedy act, but I can slip in as many Bible verses as I want and
Right.
not get, thrown off the stage or something. And it's at Camp of the Hills, Marble Falls, Texas,
Wow.
October 15th through 17th. And the website is shewillconference.com, like
Wow.
SHEWILL conference.com. And there's speakers. I'm the comedy speaker. And so.
It's
and
exciting, Victoria. Is this your first Christian event?
No, I've done a few sprinkled through the years, but I never had a Christian agent. So maybe this is the start of a new chapter. I would love to finish well for the Lord, finish my life with the last few weeks or days that I have left to honor him,
Right.
glorify him, tell people about Jesus, because he's the only answer to everything.
Yeah, he is. He is. Victoria, I have a feeling that you're going to do a lot of Christian events and you're going to do a lot of Christian television. This is a time where I believe God is bringing it all together. He's bringing everybody home. And Victoria, we're supposed to outdo the world. We don't have to copy the world. We can outdo them. And so we should have the best media, the best music, the best comedy. And I believe that's happening. And if I have anything to do with this, Esther, you're going to have all the TV time you want to minister the way you want to. And you know what? Christians that are cool are going to love and appreciate you. They've been watching you all these years anyway.
Yes.
And in what you have, you're one of those comedians that you don't have to cuss all the time and be vile to get people to laugh. You've always been funny. You've always been appealing and inspirational. And now, really, so I have a feeling, Victoria, that you're going to have your run of the place when it comes to Christian television, Christian comedy, good comedy, and outdo the world. We're supposed to outdo, outlast, outshine, and outprosper. That's our heritage. When God said, take dominion, that command never went away. And we're supposed to take dominion even still today. And when we do media like you and I are doing, Victoria, we're taking back territory from the Prince of the Air. He's called the Prince of the Air for a reason. He ravages the children through the internet, through radio, through television. But we're to take that media back and put Jesus out there, put the light out there, because he is supernaturally real and he's really supernatural.
I think the world is a little scared right now.
Right.
And so they might be a little open to hearing about Jesus. No, I was so excited. I was binge watching Norm when I heard he died because I knew him. I didn't know him well, but I worked with him, our paths crossed a few times. And I started seeing him talking about, he says a lot of bad words. If you go to his earlier videos, he's saying the F word all the time. And when I met him, he was very young and skinny. I was young and skinny then. And but I noticed as the years went by, him starting to say that he was studying Judaism or he was reading the Bible. And then I saw the Instagram where a girl named Tennille said she was at his last show, stand-up show in 2019, where he said, "I'm my last show," and at the end he said, "Jesus is the only way to heaven. Good night." And the audience was like, "What's the punchline?" And she said, "Now I understand." Also, I found him on Larry King saying that he was a Christian, and then he looked kind of shy saying it and said it's not fashionable. it is very unfashionable in show business to be a Christian, or in every career. And that's why the Bible says, behold, and I'm not ashamed of the gospel of Christ, for it's the power of God unto salvation. Jesus is a stumbling block to the Jews, and he's foolishness to the Gentiles. But to those of us who believe, he's the power of God unto salvation. So like when I was a child, I knew if I stood up for Jesus, I would be persecuted. And I actually did kind of lose my career in 2010 when I came out as an outspoken conservative. My agent said she can't send me on any more stand-up because all the clubs are owned by liberals. So my stand-up career ended around 2010. That's why this is an answer to prayer, that I get to do my stand-up act in a Christian environment, because the world does not want me anymore. And they're afraid I'll say something like abortion is wrong, or, that
you'll stand for something. The world, there's more in the world that are believers than what we know. And there's more people who have always watched you and loved you than that were believers. And what the liberals are finding out is there's far more of us than there are of them. They're the loud minority, Victoria, but we are the rising majority. And it's interesting. So many people, I've got to interview rock stars. They always loved Jesus, and they never got into drugs, a lot of them. And people are shocked to hear that. But you know what? This is the right time. I want to encourage you, sister. You're right on time. You haven't missed a thing. You're right on time.
Maybe this was God's timing, because when I was in my 20s on Johnny Carson, I remember thinking, the whole nation's watching. I should say John 3:16. And I thought, it's not appropriate. It's not appropriate, Vicki. You're nuts. And so I thought, well, someday, and then politically incorrect with Bill Maher, I had the same agent as him. And so they put me on there once, and they had me back 12 times because I was the opposite of him, and I was a good foil for him to yell at. But I got to bring a Bible on there. One time I quoted Ephesians 2:8-9, and the audience actually clapped. They were his audience. I was like, wow. And I was a little nervous, but, I thought maybe they would like tar and feather me, but they clapped. So I think the world is desperately seeking truth, and they're afraid. They don't want to be uncool. But when they find the truth, like I think Norm did, only God knows his heart, but when they find it, like, hallelujah.
Well, they say it doesn't matter how you start the race, but how you finish it. I believe that Norm finished well. And I believe that there's a lot of people, Victoria, that I think we're going to see in the kingdom that we will be surprised. They didn't act religious. They didn't do the churchy thing. Well, the reality is that the people that Jesus was the harshest towards were the religious people that shut the door of heaven into the faces of those who would enter and refuse to enter themselves. But Jesus was funny. If you translate a lot of the things that he said, when he called Herod a fox, tell that fox that the blind are seeing, and that word he used was a sissy boy. Tell that sissy boy. I mean, Jesus was hilarious. And he is the creator of laughter and joy. And so this is just the right time. Victoria, I'm excited about you. And I'm excited about all your friends who know Jesus, who may not have a platform on the devil's platforms, but they got a platform with us. They have a platform that's global. All they have to do is find out about it. And so I'm so excited about this event in October in Marble Falls. And folks, the information's at the bottom of your screen right now. You'll be able to attend that. And Victoria, I sure hope that we can get you at the studios in West Texas for an interview and even tape you doing some stand-up, because this is the right time. I'm hosting more television, Victoria, than I ever have. And it's so funny. I wanted to say, hey, where were you people 20 years ago when I was better looking, But this is yet the right time. We haven't missed a thing. God knows what he's doing. And I'm just so happy that you're at the right time talking to me, and I'm talking to you. I'm so honored to have you on here. And I know that our GLC crowd and those who watch this on all the platforms are happy to see your face. Tell us about your books that you've written too. Oh, you got a song coming on.
This one I wrote when I had cancer. And my small group 5 years ago. Praise the Lord, I am still alive. But of course, heaven's better.
There you go.
For me to live is Christ, to die is gain.
That's right. You win, you win.
Yes. And my brother and my mother just died last month.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. It was.
You're going to see them again, though, if they know the Lord, don't you? They're young again. They wouldn't come back for nothing. They're waiting for us.
Right. Okay. So in my small group, I noticed I wasn't the only one with problems. Other people had problems. Right. So I wrote the song. Tattoo.
It's okay.
She likes when I sing, but she wants to sing with me.
That's fine. Let the dog sing.
Tattoo of a broken ukulele, light blue, turquoise lies. He might leave me in the middle of my chemo. I would not be so surprised. She's singing, yeah, I got cancer, and so does my dog. My car won't start, and my sink has a clog. My checks are bouncing, but my trampoline's torn. I am not surprised because I've been warned. It's a broken world, baby. I know you agree. The second law of thermodynamics says the world is in a state of entropy. The word for broken, you see. Sing with me, Hezekiah. Lanny's back is causing him pain. Bob's OCD is driving Donna insane. Dilbert's dad, he needs a diagnosis. I quit kissing Daisy because she has some halitosis. Daisy, my other dog. My heart is broken and I stubbed my big toe. I just got fired and my food is GMO. I accidentally stepped onto my ukulele, rushing to say hi to my new neighbor, the Israeli. Well, you try to rhyme those two words. It's a broken world, baby. Since even Adam gave in. But there's a new world coming. That's why my song has a grin. Jesus is coming soon. Morning or night or noon. I'm gonna meet him in the sky, in the twinkling of an eye.
Hey, all right. I'm so happy, Victoria, that you're with us on Word on the Street and all the other platforms too. Can you close us out with a song?
This is Word on the Street for GLC with Brant Fricker and me.